morning, everyone. I'm the Reverend Leslie Massitas, and we welcome you to One Heart, One Mind Center for Spiritual Living. I'd like to introduce Reverend Michelle Ingalls, who will be speaking to us today on what mystics have taught.
Thank you, Leslie. Good morning again. So I want to start off with this little story. It's kind of a silly story. I've actually told it before, but I'm going to do it with a twist. Instead of telling it just as a story, I'm going to kind of do it as a visualization or a guided meditation, and I want you to be the main character. So if you want to close your eyes and you feel comfortable with that, please do. If not, then not. It's up to you. So the main character of this story is a little wave. A little wave who is bobbing along on the ocean. You are having a great day. You're in the sunshine, the sky is blue, the wind is blowing past your little wave mists. You are having a fabulous day. It is glorious to be a wave on this beautiful ocean. And as you're moving along, you notice that in front of you, you can see the other waves that have come before or gone before you, and all of a sudden you realize that as they hit the shore, they are disappearing into nothingness. And you realize that you are watching your own demise. And you start to panic and fear rises up in you, and pretty soon you're just in a tizzy, you don't know what to do. And all of a sudden another wave comes bobbing along and is right beside you. And this wave realizes that you are upset. And it says to you, little wave, why are you so upset? What's the matter? It's such a beautiful day. It's such a lovely place to be on this great day. And the little wave says, you say to this other wave, you don't understand. We are going to be destroyed. Look at, we are doomed. And the other little wave says to you, no, you don't understand. You're not a wave. You're the ocean. And you hit the shore and you disperse way back into this vast ocean that is peaceful and safe and loving and feels like home. And all is well. You're not a wave. You're the ocean. The Vietnamese Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh, oops, oh, I guess I should have been there, I wasn't. Said, enlightenment is when the wave realizes it's an ocean. And that's where we began our month, as we began our journey through the basics of science of mind, which is a tradition in Centers for Spiritual Living. We began exploring the idea of this larger life, of this thing itself, as our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, called it. And we explored how this thing itself is all that exists. And as it is all that exists, we are one with it. That we live and move and have our being within this one larger life. What a wonderful place to begin. And I love science of minds, or metaphysics, or New Thought in general. I love the way that they teach this idea of our oneness with this larger life. We don't say that the ocean, we don't say the ocean and a wave. We don't say God, Spirit, whatever it is, and us. We say the ocean as a wave. Spirit, God, whatever it is, the thing itself, and us. We are living, moving, breathing in this all that is, in this thing itself, this larger life. It is as us. This life is moving us, breathing us, being us in everything we do. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, put it brilliantly, I think, when he said this. Within this infinite mind, each individual exists, not as a separated but as a separate entity. We are a point of universal consciousness, which is God, and God is our life, spirit, mind, and intelligence. We are not separated from life, neither is it separated from us, but we are separate entities in it, individualized centers of God consciousness. Wow. So we recognize that each of us is an individualized point of expression for the larger life. That it is living through us as our mind and our body. It is literally our life, and we cannot be separated from it. No spirit, no God, no life itself as us. But here's the thing. While we can't actually be separated from it, we can imagine that we're separated from it. And you know, that's easy to do because here we are living in these human bodies that look pretty separate from each other. It's a real temptation to believe that we are living separate from the source of our life. But we aren't. We are living in the oneness. I mean, I look around and I see pairs of opposites in form. I see hot, cold, hard, soft. Prosperity, lack. I see what looks like evil and good. I see around me pairs of opposites in form. We're living in this form that looks like duality, but in actuality is one. Ernest Holmes called it multiplicity from unity. I love that idea. We are living in this one life. We are not separated. We are separate entities within the one life, but nothing happens outside the activity of this all that is. It can't. Everything is contained within it. So this is where we began the month. We began from recognizing this power, this presence, whatever we want to call it. We talked about the baggage that is attached to the word God, and that it can be anything you want to call it. It doesn't matter. I like to just say whatever it is, because it's whatever it is. It is the thing itself, all that is. And we talked about our awareness of our oneness within it. And then we moved on to talk about the nature of this divine presence, this entity, this all that it is. And what does that look like? What do we feel, experience when we experience the presence of this all that is? Its nature is infinite, creative, all-encompassing, all the omnis, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. It is everything. We talked about that divine nature. And that was the way it works. And then we moved on to talk about how that nature, that all that is, the presence of everything there is within us as well. Even though we aren't consciously aware of all that exists in the mind of God, the infinite presence of whatever it is a point of it. We are a point of expression, so all that God is right where we are, and we're open to it when we invite it in, when we are allowing. So, and that is what it does. The way it works, its nature, is what it does through us. And today we're going to move ahead on our last Sunday in January, last Sunday in Back to Basics month, and talk about how to use it. And we're going to talk about how to use it through the lens of what the mystics have taught. Now, I think this is a brilliant idea. I actually didn't come up with it. It's any centers in spiritual living that are using these themes that are set forth every month. They're doing exactly the same thing, but I love this idea. Because isn't that really what we're talking about? Mysticism here. Mysticism is a divine, a direct revelation of the all that is, and it is infused in everything we do. In that regard, actually, Reverend Leslie stole my quote. It's from Ernest Holmes. He defines mysticism in this way. Whoops. A mystic is someone who intuitively perceives truth. And and without mental processes arrives at spiritual realization. I love that. And we are all everyday mystics, because there is always some point in our life when we see the larger life, even if it's fleeting and only for a moment. We glimpse that we belong to something grander than ourselves. And a mystic is not just somebody who, some enlightened master who sits in a temple or in a cave up top of a mountain somewhere, although it can be that. But a mystic is anyone who is open to this divine direct revelation of the presence of God within you, within all of us. So, all of us are everyday mystics, and you know, we can cultivate this sense of the presence of God within it and let it infuse our lives in those quiet contemplative moments where we sit in spiritual practice and we do meditation and affirmative prayer or whatever it is we do. But we can also be open to, in our dailiness, to look for the presence of the divine in all things. And my experience is that when I'm open to it, I see it. And gratitude has a lot to do with this appearance of God in my life. When I'm in a state of gratitude, I see it all over the place. When my eyes and my spiritual mind and my spiritual ears and my heart is open to experiencing the presence of this larger life in everything I do, it doesn't disappoint. I see it everywhere around me. Now, Silence of Mind has a very long history with mysticism. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, said that he synthesized the philosophy of science of mind from Eastern mysticism, Eastern spiritual traditions, Western spiritual traditions, the teachings of Jesus, which are very mystical. It is done to you as you believe, to speak your word or your prayer, and it will be answered as you have asked it, and that's not exactly right, but you get the point. To take up your bed and walk. It is done to you because you have belief. That's very mystical. We stand in the presence, and as we believe, we rise to the level of that belief. God moves through us at the level of our belief. So, Science of Mind has a very long history with mysticism. And in all honesty, almost all spiritual traditions have a mystical arm. Judaism has the Kabbalah. Islam has Sufism. There are many, many Christian mystics. Mysticism is really the basis for religion, for spiritual traditions. I mean, it truly is. And Ernest Holmes went so far as to say he took all of the Eastern and Western spirit, the best of the mysticism and spiritual traditions, along with science and philosophy, and synthesized what he called the science of mind. Now, there were a lot of contemporaries who did the same thing, unity, divine science, and we came in on the heels of transcendentalists who taught that there is a power within us that we could use in a practical way in our life. An independent thinking tradition of I want to say self-mastery, to allow us to use the consciousness, this ocean of divinity in every area of our life. Now, these mystical spiritual traditions that run through most of our spiritual philosophies weren't always available to the masses. It's only really been in the last 100, 200 years when this kind of idea has been opened up to everyone. Before then it was usually men, almost always men, clergy, learned scholars, but this mysticism is embedded throughout all spiritual traditions. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about Hinduism because it's really the oldest spiritual traditions, although Zoroastrianism is also just about the same age, which is about 4,000 years old. But I love the idea of Hinduism as a mystical experience. First of all, they have tons of gods. All kinds of, probably thousands of gods. But here's the beauty of that. Remember I talked about multiplicity from unity? They have in their tradition a god for every aspect of human endeavors. If you're a farmer, there's a God for you. If you're a mother bearing children, there's a God for you. If you're a business person, there's a God for you. And all of these gods come under the umbrella of Brahma, the one life, the one infinite presence. But think about that. Every aspect of human endeavor is imbued with the spirit of the one life. It makes it practical and usable. I love that. So, I have this book on my shelf. You know, I have a great library and I love to use it. And I pulled out this book. It's called Mysticism and Magic in India. Because I was looking for some of the roots of mysticism that have fed and inspired Ernest Holmes, Dr. Ernest Holmes, and all of the pioneers of New Thought to design this practical, usable, applicable philosophy that I live and breathe. And then so do you, most likely. And so I found this book, and in this book it's a book by a guy named Ormond, what's his last name? McGill. And in it, he talks about how practical this thing that we use, this all that is. Let me read it. This is great. You're going to love this. Especially if you are familiar with New Thought or Science of Mind at all, this will ring a bell. You'll recognize the language. In the ancient Hindu teachings, it is held that there is a universal mental principle. What? Which is known as creative mind. I mean, really. The essence of this creative mind can be described as something like, oh, I love this, the blending or combination of one's personal will and their imagination. Don't we visualize and vision? And that each individual is possessed with a portion of the creative mind. Not separated, separate entity within. Is this awesome? This was thousands of years ago. This is not this whole New Thought thing, the Science of Mind thing, is not a new idea. It's ancient because mystics, through divine revelation, have experienced, have known intuitively a changeless truth that has not changed ever. It's infinite. It's constant. The truth is the truth is the truth. Form changes. Ways of practicing truth change. We pray differently today than we did yesterday. We experience the divine in new and fresh ways all the time because God is constantly moving forward. We are living on the creative edge of its becoming. But truth is always changeless. Always. I just think that's so awesome. And especially since it's so practical. It is so practical. You know, I have always loved religions and the variety that you see in religions. But I always have gravitated to the ones that talk about consciousness as first cause. Consciousness as usable and practical and available to all of us for every area of our life. And that's what this does, and that's what Science of Mind does. Now, he goes on in this very same book to say this. I thought this was pretty awesome, too. This was just a paragraph down. In other words, the Hindu teachings hold that the mind, when advanced enough, now I don't know if I would say advanced, I would say open, willing, but anyway, he said, this guy says advanced, has the power, oh, you'll love this, has the power of materializing physical creation directly itself, without the need for physical activity. This is so cool! I'm so excited, as you can see. This was thousands of years ago, and it is saying what we know to be true. And certainly what I know to be true, because I practice this stuff all the time, and I'm always blown away. Oh, how usual. But the awe, the gratitude, the thrill of seeing my thoughts, my pattern of thinking, my intention, the place where I live, form is always just so validating and powerful for me. And I always just want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we got to try it. Now, whenever I do my talks, I always get online and I look and listen to other people speak, and I read stuff, and I look for inspiration. And I ran across this. You're going to love this too. I'm so excited about this. So, I don't know, have you heard of Terry McBride? He's a metaphysical speaker that goes around from community centers and CSL centers. And I listened to this one talk, and it was so profound to me. It stayed with me all week long. And it's just wonderful. But anyway, he tells the story, starts off this talk by telling the story of how ill he was in his early 20s. He had, I think he had an accident, and they did surgery, and he ended up with like an E. coli bacterial infection that spread up and down his spine and down his nerves and his legs. And the doctors came in, this team of doctors, he says, comes in and tells him that he's going to have this massive surgical operation that's going to take hours, and they're going to try, and because this bacteria wasn't being affected by any of the antibiotics at all, they were going to remove the infection surgically, and that he probably wouldn't be able to walk afterwards, and blah, 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 blah. So this was before he had found science of mind, but he did have the operation, and he did survive, and he did find metaphysics, new thought, after that. And so then he was talking about when he tells his story to other people, and he said this, I love this. I healed my body. I know that's a little pushy. Sometimes people come up to me and say, don't you mean God healed your body? And I look them right in the eye and smile and say, no, I don't mean that. You see, my God didn't make me sick. My God didn't make me well. My God simply communicated, I adore you just the way you are, and you pick the game, and I will play with you there. Yeah. Oh, wow. This is what we do. We pick the game. We write the rules. So what are we going to do? Are we going to write the rules to the game that says, I'm always a victim, things never go right for me? I've written those rules. It reminds me very much of what Reverend Leslie told me, I think it was about a year ago. Never say anything about your body you don't want to be true. And our beloved Al there, if you tell him a challenge you have, he'll look you right in the eye and say, well, that's not what I heard. We've got some master everyday mystics in this very room. We set up the game. What do you want to play? God will meet you there. God will meet you there. What's your game? You want to play chess or you want to play checkers? That's so profound for me. And here's what I've learned about living this philosophy for so many years, is that it is an ongoing everyday experiment. It's an experiment every day. I can set my intention and I can watch to see how it demonstrates. You know Pam Grout's book, oh, she has several now, E Squared. It's a book that is entirely filled with actual metaphysical experiments. She has a hypothesis, she has a method, and the very first experiment in her book, her very first book, she calls the all that is, the thing itself, she calls it the infinite field of potentials, or possibilities. The infinite field of possibilities. Great books. She's got E cubed, E squared, and then she has one that says, thank God and prosper or something, I don't know, I got that wrong. Anyway, so in her first book, the very first experiment that she does, she calls it the dude abides principle. And what she does is she gives you 48 hours. I love this one. This is so great. I do it over and over because it's so perfect. She says the dude abides. She gives you 48 hours to recognize the presence of this all that is, however you define it, in your life, in and through your life. And she tells you to ask this field of possibilities, God, Spirit, whatever it is, for a blessing. And And don't tell the field of possibilities what the blessing is. Just open yourself to a blessing. Now, a blessing is to confer good upon something, someone. So you're asking this field of possibilities to confer good on you. Bless everything. That's why we bless our meals. That's why we bless the guy who cut us off in traffic. That's why we bless everything. We confer good everywhere so it comes back. But anyway, so she says, just see what happens. Remain open. Use your metaphysical, your spiritual eyes and ears and your hearts open and see what blessing is conferred upon you. Is that not great? I love that. So we have an experiment here in Centers for Spiritual Living. We have a recipe, a formula, and it's brilliant. It weaves into it all the basic principles that we teach here in Science of Mind. And it is called affirmative prayer, or as our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, called it, spiritual mind treatment. We are treating our mind to be open to what is already there. We are asking God to play at the level of the game of our wholeness, our perfection, our divinity. We're setting the game high. Setting the bar high here. So here's how it goes. The very first step, there's 5 steps. I'm sure most of you already know, but if you're not familiar, I'm going to tell you anyway. So the first one is we recognize what God is. We name it. We say God is the absolute, loving, powerful, creative. What do you say God is? What do you say God is?
God is everything.
Everything. Wise. What do you say? All that there is. It is this loving presence of all that is. And then the second step says, all that that is, all that I have named, all that I have experienced, all that I don't know yet, is present where I am. I am one with it. I might not always walk around consciously aware of it, but I'm one with it. And then we really get down in the third step. Here's where the rubber really meets the road. Here's where we write the rules of the game. And we raise ourselves up to the level that we want to play at. I like to think of it as faith. Feel as if the thing has happened. I'm going to create a mental and vibrational equivalent to the answered prayer. I'm going to live in abundance. I'm going to live in health. I'm going to live in joyous relationships. I'm going to live in creative and fulfilling work in the world. Here's where I live. Meet me here, God. And I'm not talking to something outside myself, something out there. I'm talking to the presence and power that is flowing through me right here, right now. And I announce. I don't just suggest. Oh, well, if you have time. Do you think you could? No, I announce. I declare. I announce that this is so. That I am the presence. I am an expression of the presence of divine health. I am an expression of the full flow of abundance as prosperity in my life. I am the expression of love and friendship, for I give it and receive it with ease and grace. I am the expression of fulfilling work in the world that fulfills me in every way, and that I am in service to the world of the whole. This is where I write the rules to the game. It's powerful. It changes us. Prayer doesn't change God. It changes us. God is the constant changeless. And then I like to call the last 2 steps, thank you and good night. And all it is we go into gratitude. Gratitude is a motivator. It's a magnifier. It opens us up to receive everything that is. Thank you, God. Have you ever felt bad when you're in gratitude? No, you can't. Oh, thank you for my ability to create my reality through this changeless presence and the law that it has set up so that I may create along with it. I co-create. Thank you, God. I resonate here. And then I've done my work. I've set my intention. The law will work automatically. I just let go, and I let Spirit do Spirit's work. I let it go. I release this prayer, knowing full well that what I have, the rules of the game that I have written, will be played at that level. They have no choice. That's the way it is. So that is the thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how we use it. That's it. Shall we pray? All right. Okay, so you can see the steps. God is absolutely all there is. It is the presence and the power of life itself. It is creative, it is joyous, it is juicy, it is expansive, it is good, and it is one. And we are one in it, as it. We are living the life of God in everything we do. It breathes our heart, it beats our heart, it breathes our breath, it moves our arms, it sings our song, it dances our dance. It is all that we are. Thank you. So I speak my word for and about every person that is present in this room and every person who is not. I declare and announce that there is a shift in consciousness that opens us to the full flow of the good that God is in every area of our lives. I speak my word about our beloved country and its leaders and its powers, that they be divinely guided by this loving power and presence. I speak my word for this planet, Mother Earth, and all life on it, where we are open to the full flow of divine grace to play the game of love and compassion, kindness, and prosperity. So I stand in this experience of the all that is within me, within all of us, this perfect, whole, unchanging truth. And I know that it is moving into form. As I speak these words, it has no choice. Thank you, God, for the ability of us to create along with the divine organization and law of universal good. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. So I know that as I release this prayer, these words, this mental and emotional and vibrational equivalent into the capable hands of law, it is already done. And I simply let Spirit do Spirit's work, and we signify our agreement by saying together, and so it is.